sons. They were very instrumental for their equipment rental, heavy equipment trucking. I'd like to thank Mr. Nelson, equipment rental, trucking, and Rotten Rock. Mr. David, Rotten Rock. Mr. Singh, concrete, apartment rental, hardware. Cohen Logistic, Lando Logistic. This road, every piece of asphalt spread on this road was done by local Tobagonian. And there's a lot more of local. If I forget anybody name, please forgive me. But there was a lot of local people we use here in Tobago. And I would like to thank for their input and their support. Also the project manager of California Stockholm, Mr. Sean Bishram. There's a team of people from the division that was very instrumental here. Mr. Atiba, Treshel, Mr. Treshel, Donnell, Mr. Donnell Franklin, Celicia. Celicia was here till about 2 this morning, trying to get everything prepared. So I really want to say thank you all for supporting California Stockholm, and may you have a blessed day, and see you soon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sicharan. I guess by now you can consider you a Tobagonian, because all that assistance you got from Tobago. So now we're going to have a cultural item, and we're going to put our hands together for Miss Crystal Sargent Carter. We're going to have a cultural item from her.
Bring down the power of love, I say. generation. Come on, lift your voice with that feeling of satisfaction as one. And we move in our purpose to redirection. Hold tight, stepping out of the darkness with one direction inside. Bring down the power of love, I say. The power of love, I say, is the greatest power. Stop hell and damnation. Hey, love to heal a nation is the greatest power. Bring down the power. Bring down the power. The power of love. Hey, bring down the power. Bring down the power. The power of love. Hey, bring down the power. Bring down the power. The power of love. Hey, bring down the power. Bring down the power. The power of love. Hey, bring down. Bring it down. The power of love.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Carter. Bring down the power. And just to let you know, I'm her manager from this point on. All right, we sing for opening of roads. And if you want to close a road, we can sing for you also, all right? So you can call me on 354-5115, all right? So another round of applause for Crystal. So now we're going to get some remarks. And first let me call on the Assemblyman, Wayne Clark, also the area representative for Lambo Lowlands. Let's put our hands together for Assemblyman Wayne Clark as he brings us some remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good morning. Look, you see, this is our function here, and answer properly, I'm going to ask you to leave. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Right. I stand on all the protocols that has been observed, but I must salute Miss Nicholson. Very often the question comes to mind. Sometimes I forget and ask myself the question, like I forget it's me I'm talking to. Why you got into politics? And the answer was simple. Because you wanted to be able to serve on a wider platform. And getting into politics, my dream was that of seeing a new Tobago. And I had the best opportunity, I will call it, to serve on our executive, led by Mr. Farley Chavez Agustin, who each day is convincing me even more that he sees that new Tobago, and we are well on the way to achieving that new Tobago. Brothers and sisters, sometimes the only thing you have to worry about is you not giving up. And I urge all Tobagonians to let us stay together, work together. We will achieve together. Just don't give up. Just don't get caught up into that master plan of somebody else of fighting each other. Because all that does is delay what we're trying to achieve. Let us work together. I am convinced that when you see projects like this being delivered, we are well on the way to achieving what we set out to achieve. And it wasn't by accident this project, I noticed the MC saying Lambo Lowlands, this is my constituency, better say that too. It wasn't by accident the chief said, well, we got to build the first roundabout and thing in your constituency. But I'm really grateful this morning to be a part of not only this ceremony, to be a part of this Tobago House of Assembly that in no uncertain way, is doing the things that we promise the people. It mightn't do as quick as you want it, but you know what? We're on the job. And we will continue to be on the job despite the limited resources, despite all the challenges. Because you know they say a smooth sea never make a good sailor. So I am here. The Chief Secretary is here, the Deputy Chief Secretary is here, each and every member of this Tobago House of Assembly and each and every member of this Tobago public. I urge you to be here too, and no doubt, once we work together, we will see that new Tobago. We will achieve the dream of making Tobago the greatest liquor island on the planet. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark, and thank you for inviting us in your electoral district. So, you know what? Let's turn to the person next to you and let's say New Tobago. Yeah, that is the motto from now on, right? So you're in Trinidad, anybody talk to you, where you from? New Tobago. You're going up for Labor Day, where you tell them where you're from? New Tobago. Anywhere they say, where you from? New Tobago. Thank you very much. So now, let me call on, and I have to be careful because as I was calling Mr. Clark, I saw Mr. Pollard was getting up. I'm not seeing no area for Mason all around here. I'm not seeing no C. I mean, we're not in an area where it have C, but so now let me call on the other area representative, Mr. Assemblyman Sonny Craig, for Buku Mount Pleasant to bring us some remarks.
A pleasant good morning. Let me stand on the protocols already established. But like like my counterpart, I must recognize Ms. Pamela Nicholson. You see, like myself, Pamela Nicholson comes from the best district in Tobago. I will not get any applause for that. I'll tell you why. It's not jealousy, no. It's that she's originally from Charlottesville, so the Chief Secretary wants to share. She's from the best district. All right. So it's not wise to pick a fight with my boss in the public space. But it's not always the best thing as Tobagonians to fight among ourselves, even for geographical supremacy, because we all belong to a great island. You know, I had the privilege of visiting my doctor yesterday. Our conversation touched the importance of the movement of blood throughout the body and having clear and uninterrupted movement. He also emphasized the importance of blood vessels in moving life-sustaining nutrients throughout the body. Arteries, veins, capillaries, etc. We spoke about arteries being the vessels that move oxygenated blood throughout the body. In fact, I remember back in high school when Ms. Nicholson taught me back in 1977, yes, blood was referred to as the river of life. No doubt without healthy arteries, we will not be able to get up as we would like to. We will not be able to produce as we would like to. This roadway being commissioned today has arterial traits. We must represent the river of life moving along this thoroughfare night and day. We must therefore be the oxygenating and rejuvenating force that this island needs in order to move this island forward. Yes, we are the nutrients in the blood vessel. Every single roadway on the island is important once it's traversed by people. Just as poisons can be transported through the vessels, we must ensure that we use these roads for building a better Tobago. When we traverse the roadway, when we leave home, this is the avenue entrusted to us to realize our dreams and aspirations. These roads ought not to be used as a conduit for hate, for crime, for deceit. When we use these roads, they must not add up to the destruction of homes by visiting the wrong places. If you are tempted to use these roads to go to a wrong place, sit in your car and reconsider. They were not built for that. As we engage in building this island, we as citizens must dig deep and search within ourselves to find our God-given gifts, ordained to us from birth. Let us not get dragged into a pit of just basic take what you get in an ever-changing global environment. Tobago needs to take its place, and every single person living on this island is encouraged to aspire to greatness. We, the people of Tobago, entrusted this administration to build the arterial facility to facilitate our aspirations. The health centers, the hospitals, the highways, infrastructural conveniences, and most importantly, you entrusted us with the responsibility to do the policy framework for our greatest little island aspiration and our realization of autonomy. Just as our bodies are intelligently designed by our Creator to meet our daily needs for existence, to thrive, grow, and achieve excellence, just as we may be negligent at times leading to health challenges, just as we implement sound medical advice, whether it be bush tea or a change of diet, to see a rebirth in our circumstances, let this island experience a rebirth as we continue to seek to fix the unhealthy mess we inherited. These roadways are an endorsement, and may I say proof, that we are poised to take this island forward. We must be able, residents of Tobago, we must be able to discern true performance and be observant in being able to discern those who, in their criticisms, are just seeking to retard our progress so they can be put in office. Commendations to the Honorable Chief Secretary, the Honorable Chief Secretary of Tobago, Mr. Farley Chavez Augustine. Commendations to the Secretary in the Division of Works and his assistant previously, who was instrumental when the project began, Mr. Joel Sampson, and his present assistant, Mr. Terrence Baines, and all the team and administrators, contractors, and the people of Tobago. Recognizing the urgency of the work at hand, I am so happy to see the inconvenience the Tobago people have endured, but they remain silent. There was no voice of protest during the inconvenience because they knew it added up to something great at the end. The greatest little island on the planet is under construction. Together, we can do it. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Assemblyman Sonny Craig. And sir, I think we'll need you outside in about the next 2 minutes, just to hold your hand outside there. Because, yeah, we need you outside in a short while. And I realize you tried to claim Charlottesville, and after that you started to choke. So claim what is yours, all right? Yeah, don't try and claim anything from up on that side, all right? Up there is up there. So now, as we get ready for another remarks, let us bring to the microphone, put your hands together for Assemblyman Trevor James, the Secretary for the Division of Quarries and Urban Development.
This gentleman, his brother, and I were in class together, so I would have to forgive him when he attempts to measure me in public. Honorable Chief Secretary Farley Chavez Augustine, Deputy Chief Secretary Dr. Faith B. Israel. Should I call my name? Of course. Area representatives For Lambo Lowlands, an Assistant Secretary of the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, Assemblyman Wayne Clark. Area Representative for Boko, Mount Pleasant, and Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary, Assemblyman Sonny Craig. Other secretaries, I recognize Secretary for Education, Secretary of Tourism, who have graced us with their presence, Assistant Secretary in Agriculture, the great Tate, Administrator of the Division of Infrastructure, Mr. Carl Murray, Technical Advisor to the Division, Dr. Ellis Boris, other senior staff, members of the PMO especially, who supervise this project. It's a project taken on by the division, giving the division the opportunity to build capacity in its staff instead of contracting that out to a Trinidad project management company. I want to give a round of applause for that. Managing Director of California Stockholm, Mr. Charles C. Charan, and other members of the Stockholm family. Specially invited guest, first female member of Parliament for Tobago, no other than Miss Pamela Nicholson. The niece, maybe the great niece, of the late James Bigart, first elected representative of the Legislative Council of Trinidad and Tobago to represent Tobago, Miss Betty Ann Bigart. And in her absence, I was told that she went to the clinic this morning. The widow of Dr. Jefferson Davidson, former chairman and presiding officer of the Tobago House of Assembly, Miss Barbara J. Davidson. All other stakeholders, members of the media, others who are here, good morning. Thank you for being here. The late Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, as he tried to entrench the ideology of independence in the minds of Ghanaians and to build the foundations of the state of Ghana, it was he who said, "Countrymen, the task ahead is great indeed, and heavy is the responsibility, yet noble and glorious the challenge." It's a challenge which calls for the courage to dream, the courage to believe, the courage to dare, the courage to just do, the courage to envision, the courage to fight, the courage to work, and the courage to achieve the highest excellencies and the fullest greatness of a man. I would change that of a man to of a Tobagonian. It is this inspiration, this kind of inspiration that guides the Tobago House of Assembly as we seek to do the same thing, to establish a dream of statehood, a dream of, some say, independence. Today, we started the process of internal self-government. Today, we say we want self-determination, but it's the dream of independence. And this project represents, in this administration, the beginning of the fulfillment of the dream. There is no question that this is a great infrastructure stride in the history of the state of Tobago. This opening of this section today is not fortuitous. It is the execution of a dream that goes back more than 2 decades to the development plan of the 1990s under Ho Choi Charles. Yes. A plan which included this piece of infrastructure was initiated when the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago in 2009, 2010 actioned the request of the then THA to purchase the Friendship Estate. What is that? 10, 12 years after Ho Choi Charles left office. The initiation of this project started when Chief Secretary London requested of the cabinet that the cabinet purchase Friendship Estate. And I want to read from the cabinet note. I want to read from the cabinet note when I find it. For that action that gave power to the purchasing of the road, because I want to make the point of the length of time it takes for real development to happen in Tobago. The cabinet in 2009, 2010, in the note to the cabinet, says that they were going to purchase Friendship Estate. I have to go from memory now. They're going to purchase Friendship Estate to do a number of things. One was to build a 10.2 kilometer road, I believe. I didn't know where we were getting the 10 kilometers from. The cabinet note says that they're going to build 4,000 homes on this estate. As the reason for the purchase, the cabinet note said that they were going to build a fire station. The cabinet note said that the road was intended to alleviate the problem of traffic congestion going to the Crown Point International Airport. 2009. A decade plus before Mr. Augustine and this team came to office, the estate stood bare, waiting for the courage to dream, the courage to believe that we Tobagonians, despite the trials and tribulations we have encountered and we continue to encounter, can in fact get up and do. Get up and fight. As you know, this road is being built with opposition from all sides. And we need to stand up, and I want to implore all Tobagonians to stand up and to say, we are ready, we have the courage, not only to believe and to envision this new thing, but to fight and to work, as Kwame says, and to achieve, because no one will do it for us. So although the development like this should be a routine activity for the government of Tobago, as we execute our strategic plans and so on, it is not easy for the government of Tobago or any of its divisions, because it appears that every single arm of government in Port of Spain is and has been failing Tobago and Tobagonians. Every single arm. The executive arm of the government, as an example. The Ministry of Finance, with the support of the cabinet and the parliament, of which we have 2.25 Tobagonians, continually underfunds Tobago. They disburse funds contrary to the law, and they seem to rob Tobago not once every year, but twice every year. After the budget, they rob us, and after the media review, they rob us. And they send the white shirts. And yet, we must maintain our courage to achieve. Every administrative method and opportunity to stymie and impede progress in Tobago, the executive in Trinidad, whether through ministers and their ministries or agencies of the state of Trinidad and Tobago, has capitalized on that method or opportunity to the detriment of Tobago and Tobagonians who wish to see Tobago move forward. Every single ministry, from everyone, from WASA to the Ministry of Planning, to the Ministry of Housing, to the Ministry of Finance, all of them use, I'm going to come to national security, use every opportunity they can to thwart the dreams of Tobagonians. The legislature, there has always been, and there will continue to be, several legislative gaps that rendered it for Act 40 of 1996 weakened with respect to the intention of the Parliament to effect administrative autonomy in Tobago. And that is the goal of the THA Act, to effect administrative autonomy in Tobago. The Law Reform Commission, despite its mandate to address or sought to address these weaknesses, have said nothing for decades on the Tobago governance issue. And the executive in Trinidad always seek to exploit these weaknesses to our detriment. The time, I suggest, has come for us to make a final decision on whether this is the state of affairs we wish to continue in. The judiciary, one would think that the judiciary would be the place for the distinct Tobago section of the national society to find relief and justice. But even there, justice is being denied as justice is being delayed. Today I want to report that the hearing for the injunction, final injunction, has been put to January 2025. Justice being delayed, justice being denied, again by a justice system that is not of us. It is providential that today's dedication of the roundabouts and the Tobago, it is providential that one of the roundabouts today is being dedicated to our first freedom fighter. James Bigot became the first elected representative of Tobago in the Trinidad and Tobago Executive Council. For 35 years after 1889, Tobagonians decided that it was not going to be a part of that house because that house was a selected house. And while we came out of a crown colony where we were voted for as representatives, we decided then, our forefathers decided, that we will not submit ourselves to be selected to go to a Trinidad house until the government in Trinidad decided that they were going to have elections. And we elected James Bigot. I am honored to have met his great niece this morning. I know some of her first cousins, of course, so I'm honored, and you should be honored to be related to the first. Yes. So it took us 35 years without a representative. If you check from Hochoy time to now, taken us 3 years to fulfill the dream that is the development of this infrastructure. This infrastructure is being developed because we have another dream. We have a dream when Cove Industrial Estate will in fact be an industrial estate, and there will be the need to transport containers in and out of Cove. We build this dream because we see an increase in tourist arrivals at the new terminal, and we want to move them as quickly as possible out of Crown Point into the rest of the beauty that is Tobago. And so we dream, and we decided that to help fulfill the dream, we would go out to tender, and we are now negotiating with a firm to build out a whole new infrastructure in Friendship Estate. I think we would be signing the letter of intent, Mr. Murray, shortly. It's signed already. And so when I say it is part of the strategic plan, it is in fact part of the strategic plan. No mind that our friend from Mason Hall wishes that we sit down and write another official plan to give to him. After we've done, what, CDP, what, 1, 2? We've done one with Hochoy, 2 under Orville, and, sorry, let me be respectful, 1 under Chief Secretary Hochoy Charles, 2 under Chief Secretary Orville London, and what we have, nothing. Who remembers the highway to Charlottesville? Who remembers it? I want to say that it has been an honor to serve as the head of the Division of Infrastructure. It has been an honor to serve in the Executive Council from 2022 to 2025. And I want to say to Tobagonians that in the words of the US development planner who remains unnamed, we can only succeed if we get people to think of the good of the group instead of themselves. We can only succeed if we get people to think of the good of the group instead of themselves. We have to finally get rid of this concern for self and replace it with what is best for the group. I thank you.
Another round of applause for Mr. Trevor James, Assemblyman, also the Secretary for DIQUD. And thank you for serving, sir, and we're looking forward for your continuous service. So now, we'll be giving you a musical item. And this musical item will be done by none other than Mr. Kirsch Ramsey, pan player, writer, tuner, cupped lots of trophies for all the panoramas. Put your hands together as we welcome Mr. Kirsch Ramsey.
Everyone.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Mr. Kirsch Ramsey. And again, I'm giving out my number, 354-5115. All right, we play pan for closing of roads, opening of roads. The husband don't want to cook, we play that tune for you. The wife get up, she don't want to give you breakfast, we'll play a tune for you, it will fill you. All right, so another round of applause for Mr. Kirsch Ramsey. So now for the feature address, I would like to welcome the Honorable Farley Chavez Augustine, our Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, also the neighbor of the area representative, Mr. Wayne Clark.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You may have your seats. Allow me this morning to acknowledge Deputy Chief Secretary Dr. Faith B. Israel, the Secretary for Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Assemblyman Trevor James, a representative for Lambo Lowlands, and Assistant Secretary in the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, Assemblyman Wayne Clark, a representative for Boko Mount Pleasant, Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary, Assemblyman Sonny Craig, other secretaries and assistant secretaries, Administrator in the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, other administrators, Technical Advisor in the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Dr. Ellis Boris, other senior staff of the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Mr. C. Shirvan, Managing Director of California Stockco, and all the Tobago contractors that participated in this project, our specially invited guests, namely our first female Member of Parliament and Member of Parliament for Tobago West, Ms. Pamela Nicholson. We also have a niece of the deceased, James Bigat, who was not just our first elected representative to the Legislative Council of Trinidad and Tobago, but he was also our first representative of color, first black representative, political representative that Tobago would have had. And in her absence, we recognize the widow of Dr. Jefferson Davison, who we recently buried. And of course, all other stakeholders and members of the media. I want to title my presentation today, Pamela Nicholson Avenue, the road to self-governance. The idea of running a road through the Friendship Estate to Storebay Local Road, providing faster and much more efficient access to the airport is not a new one. An idea birthed in the late 90s under the leadership of now deceased Chief Secretary Hochoy Charles, came about at a time when another Tobago icon, Dr. Alison Williams, was serving on the airport authority and came up with an aerodrome plan. That aerodrome plan was to build an airport that extended all the way down to the junction that will intersect this road and Storebay Local Road. And the plan will be an airport complex that will include inside the airport complex the existing Ravenel's Hotel, among other related businesses, as part of the airport establishment. Not separate and a part of. Not an idea to kick them out and then build, but to include them in the bill. And so the idea was birthed in the late 90s to develop this roadway and to have this roadway literally run straight to the airport doors. Since then, we have had 4 1/4 administrations, if we are to count the 6-6 period as a quarter administration. But it took 2.5 years of this government in office to deliver on a dream from the late 90s. This is important for several reasons. One, it demonstrates that good governance is also about continuity. That all good ideas may not be birthed by you, and sometimes when in government you just have to deliver on things that others could only dream about. Secondly, it demonstrates just how long it takes to get development going on the island of Tobago. And we lament over and over again about the fact that the things we want, the things we dream, are just taking too long. Thirdly, this project is a major design build project for us, design build finance project for us, which means that the contractor stood the cost of constructing this road and paying all of those Tobago contractors and workers and paying for the materials, and we in turn will pay him at a much slower rate than he spent his money to deliver the project. That is important to note, so that whenever you hear them say that we are giving millions to Trinidad contractors and it's been spirited away, please ask of them how many of our own contractors have the capacity in terms of funding for projects of this magnitude. Fourthly, we took the decision to build this road ourselves. Somewhere between the 4 1/4 administrations, somebody decided that they ought to spirit away the responsibilities entrenched in the 5th schedule of Act 40 of 1996 and to ask or allow or beg or beseech the Trinidad central government to build the road for the Tobago House of Assembly. Autonomy means taking responsibility for the things you have responsibility for. Autonomy means doing it yourself. It may not be perfect. It might be fraught with hiccups and challenges, but after every successive project delivers, we will get better and better at project delivery. Strangely, the same people who argue that we ought not to allow Trinidad investments into THA projects are the same ones who argue that we should have given Trinidad this project to build for us. But that's just the red-facedness of hypocrisy. The next important point of this project that I don't want us to miss is that this roundabout that is located just opposite the now infamous Milsherv stands as a stark contrast of how to allow private investment into government projects. And I wish to remind all and sundry of what Milsherv represents versus what this project represents. At Milsherv, the Tobago House of Assembly, under former Chief Secretary Mr. London, purchased the land for $12 million. After purchasing the land for $12 million, the former Chief Secretary, Honorable Chief Secretary, and his team leased said piece of land for 100 years to private developers who happen to be financiers of the PNM party for $5 TT per year. Wow. After that was done, the Tobago House of Assembly proceeded to put $25 million in an escrow account to be used as security for the loan to construct the facility. So we bought the land for $12 million. We leased it for $5 million at 100 years. We will all, for $5, sorry, per year. We will all be dead. My child will probably be deceased, and maybe be my great grands operating by the time the lease has ended. So after doing that, we placed $25 million in an escrow account, and the company, I believe, run by the Rahals, then got a loan on the $25 million we placed in that escrow account. So the developer took no risk whatsoever. And when the billing was completed, Tobago is now charged, after we have completed all of the payments, $384.2 million. Currently, for the next 20 years, we have to pay $1,600,842.69, and that's across 20 years per month. And then we have then the Tobago House of Assembly does not even manage the facility ourselves. We don't hire the cleaners ourselves or do the repairs ourselves, because we must pay $410,500.40 to this company called Europa every month to take care of management services for the building. And it's a building that leaks. Now let's juxtapose that to the roundabout opposite it, and this road infrastructure that comes in under $100 million as a design build finance that the Tobago House of Assembly will, in the most responsible manner, make those payments. And I'm certain, given how close Mr. Sicharan and the Tobago contractors have become, almost like family, when the Secretary of Finance misses a month payment, he will smile and say, "It's okay, I'll give you an extra month before you pay." But that's a stark contrast. But one thing is familiar in both projects, and that is the Tobago House of Assembly, because it is starved for financial resources, have to find creative ways to fund the capital development of the island. If we don't, all we will do is pay salaries, keep the lights on, but no new roads will be built. This project is also important because this is the first major road infrastructure built on the island since Chief Secretary Hochoy Charles. In the intervening period, we got a little bypass that connected Gardenside Road and from the highway and Peasom Gardenside Road to that connector road above the Botanical Gardens. But that roadway connecting Hope and Mason Hall, that's a Hochoy Charles project, essentially. And this is the island's first major brand new road infrastructure development that has happened since the early 2000s. What kind of island are we running if it takes us so long, decades, more than 2 decades, in order to build new roads? I read somewhere in development studies that the road to development is by building roads. And so this project is also important because it opens up the Friendship Estate to a world of opportunities. Already, we have earmarked in the development plan, and I'll let some of the secrets out of the bag. Development plan, lands set aside for agriculture and farmers, and we're talking about farming done with technology. Because of the proximity to the airport, none of the farms in the area can produce goods that will attract birds. We also have lands designated for Tobago first dedicated motorsport arena. For Tobago's first dedicated motorsport arena. For Tobago's first dedicated motorsport arena. Arena. That we can build this road